ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Wilds War Cry. I am your host, Stephen Wilds. Today, I have with me that cantankerous cretin, the one that we call... Actually, we don't really call you anything. Chris!
Yeah.
Chris, what should we call you?
Chris, I don't know. That sounds good.
No, we need a name.
Obviously, he's the charismatic enigma. Obviously.
Okay, sure. Also joining me, if you can't tell, is of course the man who thinks the Angels are an actual sports team, Ulysses.
You don't even get that joke, Steven.
I just remember there was this movie called Angels in the Outfield, and ever since then, no one took the Angels seriously as a baseball team.
It's okay, but you know why this podcast is still going to be a good podcast, Steven?
Why?
Because we're too big.
How many times am I going to have to hear that today?
Probably more times than any human being should.
Oh, buddy. For those of you who may not know, or if you're new to our podcast here, Ulysses has an obsession with the New Day, and specifically its member, Big E, formerly
and
Langston.
And Big E's breasts.
And yes, he to be even more specific, he has an obsession with Big's pectoral excellence.
Because they're too big.
They are too big. How can one singlet contain them?
They don't. That's the secret.
Well, we are off to a horrible start. Let's jump into Payback. All right. I actually, because work was really slow that day, I actually got to catch the majority of the pre-show for Payback. And let me say, I shouldn't have bothered.
I know.
Yeah, agreed.
I was interested when R-Truth and Stardust came out to do their match. Unfortunately, it was just kind of a short match. It was neat. I like both of those competitors, but it was nothing to really write home about. In fact, my only note was okay. It actually just says okay next to that match.
I was just happy R-Truth wasn't the R-Truth that he was before WrestleMania when he was stealing shit. Yes, potatoes. I'm just happy he's just not that R-Truth.
Yeah, definitely not his best gimmick, but I just really find R-Truth entertaining. I'm serious.
He has some moments.
He's been getting more wins lately, and I hope this actually means that they're going to do something with him. I know he's never going to be a main event, star. I liked when he actually had his heel run against Cena and he was in the main event, but I knew that was short-lived. I don't know. I like R-Truth. That's just me.
He's pretty entertaining.
But what happened next was not entertaining. At least thought to be. And yeah. I feel so bad because let me explain. So we're talking about the Mega Powers versus the Ascension. I actually don't even really want to call them that because I feel like I'm disrespecting the actual Mega Powers. But I give very little shit about Hulk Hogan. I more feel like I'm disrespecting Savage. But anyway, the point that I want to get to here is I understand this, right? Sandow is a comedy gimmick. Axel has been kind of transitioning into a comedy gimmick. I love the stuff with him in the Royal Rumble and Axelmania and all that. And this looks like it was kind of geared more towards the younger audience, and it's a good pre-show hype thing. I just think it failed. What did you think, Ulysses?
See, I didn't like... It was annoying as hell to hear the commentary saying, "Oh, they're paying homage to the Mega Powers. They're paying homage to this." And no, what they're doing is humiliating themselves. They're not doing anything other than like embarrassing themselves in front of everybody and like burying them damn selves because nobody's gonna give a damn about Sandow anymore. Like I was one of the many who was pissed off that he still called himself Mizdow after he got himself away from the Miz. And now he can't even go by Sandow anymore. He's doing this Macho Man gimmick thing. And don't get me started on Curtis Axel's thing. His thing stopped being funny 2 weeks after Royal Rumble. And now they're doing this stupid thing where he actually dyes his mustache yellow. He's wearing the yellow wig. And I'll give him props because he actually did the leg drop with the left leg. That's one thing Hulk Hogan was never able to do. But and then... Again, and then so this match already, they pissed me off because Sandow and Axel are actually pretty good in the ring.
Yes.
And they both do have some good charisma and everything. So Just give them another chance other than this. And then to make it even worse, they were going against the Ascension, which WWE has completely dropped the ball with them. And this match was just a recipe for utter disaster.
I agree with you 100%. I think the two men that we're talking about here are both very talented. The Rock, when he came back, specifically requested to work with Joe Henning, who we know as Curtis Axel, because of his ring work. And this is just one of those things where the match was short, and I'm hoping this gimmick is just as short. Chris, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm much in the same line as you guys. At first I liked the idea but then I remembered that this whole Axelmania thing is completely different than what it started out as. Didn't it start out with just him trying to get him to the main event? Isn't that true? The whole Axelmania campaign? And now it's this whole impersonation thing, and it just irritates me. And the fact that they went up against the Ascension, who I can't stand whatsoever, because you said they dropped the ball and they're just terrible. This was just an annoying match.
It really upsets me in the sense that I love the Ascension in NXT. They weren't, amazing, but they were solid. They were good. They were fun to watch come out and just destroy another tag team, and it was entertaining. And as I've always said, and I've heard multiple people say it as well, some things that work in NXT do not work on the main roster. NXT is a completely different environment with what really feels like a completely different set of fans almost. And that's why I think gimmicks like Adam Rose can work in NXT. Also, it helps that you have this hour-long format and you're not, trying to shove too much down someone's throat. A lot of what doesn't naturally work in NXT eventually works itself off the program. So,
yeah.
But all in all, this was the pre-show. It didn't really do what it was supposed to, which is get you hyped for the pay-per-view. Thankfully, I'll admit, I went into this really expecting this pay-per-view to be just as bad as Extreme Rules,
Fastlane,
if not worse. Maybe Fastlane level. I didn't think it'd be quite that bad, but thankfully, what did happen was once the show actually started, I think things kind of turned around a little bit. So let's talk about Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. Ulysses, what did you notice about this match? What did you think about it?
Okay, I'm gonna just get this one out the way real quick. I'm gonna say this about a lot of the matches, so I'd rather just say this once instead of constantly saying it. I really like this pay-per-view because there was actually a lot of decent in-ring wrestling. A lot of these matches had nice wrestling into it. So that kept me very much entertained. And this match was pretty much almost exactly like their their Extreme Rules match, where they were actually decent wrestling. Like, they were going nice back and forth. Ziggler had some good moments. Sheamus had some good moments. Like, this feud is slightly getting me entertained, like getting me into the thought of maybe I should watch Sheamus a little bit more. But then I hear Sheamus
exactly
speak.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's like this feud between him and Ziggler, the WWE is nailing it so far because they're actually getting me interested in Sheamus, and that's exactly what they need to be doing. And like, props to Ziggler. I know he cut himself pretty bad.
Yeah.
And he sold that like a champ. And I don't know, like, I know Ziggler lost, but he didn't seem less of a superstar to me at the end of this. It was almost exactly like Extreme Rules, where somehow there was a winner and a loser, but they both ended up stepping up a little bit.
I will agree with your point about most of the matches. There was a lot of good ring work, but the point that I'll say is that a lot of these matches also helped both competitors, win or lose, look pretty strong. And
yes,
we'll definitely get more into that into some of the later matches. But a great example here is I like that they really sold Sheamus as the more dominant, strength-wise and aggression-wise superstar here. But Ziggler kept pulling out stuff, and he never gave up. And he was fighting back. He got his revenge, for the kiss my arse thing. And I don't know, it all seemed to work. Chris, what did you think?
You see, everything that Ulysses said, other than the good ring work, I pretty much feel the opposite about. I don't like this feud at all. It was the beginning. It was the Extreme Rules match that immediately left me with a bad taste in my mouth. No pun intended. But it's
chapstick. Just use chapstick.
But this whole thing, like, I love Ziggler. I don't like Sheamus, and it's just, this isn't bringing me into Sheamus at all. I still look at him as, what is he doing? This is, when he asks me, are you not entertained? Most of the time, my answer is, you're exactly correct. I am not entertained. But it's just, I'm glad it seems like Ziggler's moving on to a different thing because he deserves better. He deserves the title, but it's just, I'm not entertained at all by Sheamus.
All right. Well, I will say this: as far as the scar or the him getting busted open,
that was nasty.
That it looked great though.
I know.
I'm not saying like, hey, we need to see more of this or let's bust some more heads open, but it helped sell the match. I'm just going to be honest. For me personally, it helped sell the match, and it made me think that Sheamus was a legit badass and that he could really hurt you. And I do believe that because I know he's supposed to be an incredibly stiff worker, but I think it worked.
And how great was seeing all the red in Ziggler's hair? I don't know why. That
dyed his hair.
I know.
Good old Ric Flair looking.
Right. It had a very Ric Flair look. Monday night, we'll get to Raw later, but he really wore those stitches and that scar as very proudly. Like, one thing I like about Ziggler is, I know for a while there he was getting a bunch of concussions, but he really seems like he is doing his best to be a tough guy,
I love Ziggler.
Yeah. All right, so next up after that was probably, in my opinion, the underdog match of the night. I didn't know what to expect from this, but I like the setup. I love the idea. It's the New Day versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Let's keep it down. Simmer down there. In a 2 out of 3 falls match. And I like the idea of having these two teams in a 2 out of 3 fall match. I like the idea that you have both of them that have, I guess, kind of like a manager aspect. You have Xavier Woods, who was on the sidelines for the New Day, and you have Natalya, who was there for Kidd and Cesaro. So it just seemed like a good setup. Chris, what were your initial impressions of this match?
After watching this was the highlight pretty much of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, this match. I know we're talking about Payback, but I'm saying once the Extreme Rules, this was the highlight match of that pay-per-view. But this was the close second to this one, to Payback. I love this match. It was great. The New Day have done a great job of turning me around on them. I used to hate them. I thought they were annoying, but now they're great. And I already liked Kidd and Cesaro. I thought they were a good tag team. Their whole fact thing kind of annoys me at times, but it worked for a heel tag team. But what kind of confuses me, or not confuses me, what I love about the New Day is the fact that they're kind of oblivious heels. They go around parading like their faces and think that everybody loves them, but in reality, they're getting booed. I love that about them. But the match itself was great. We got to see Cesaro exhibit his strength as he always does in every match. We got to see Big E and Xavier.
Got to see Big E. Okay.
Yeah, Xavier Woods was great throughout the entire match, yelling for the Freebird rule.
That was fun.
That was fantastic. Oh man, this match was great.
Ulysses, what did you think?
Okay, unlike Chris, I was a fan of the New Day since they started. I didn't like how they initially showed up, because I always thought the New Day was going to be an utter failure unless they give Big E the ability to just show how charismatic he is. Because I always say this, he is hands down the funniest dude probably in that locker room. Like, if you ever have a chance, go find his Instagram account. He has a whole bunch of funny, dumb videos on that. He's hilarious. He's charismatic as all hell. And if you just let him do that, it'd be great. Like, when they came out to the ring, Big E does his, chant that he always does. Like, he did one for WrestleMania, which was funny. He did another one for Extreme Rules, and then he did one here, and it's great. He goes into the ring, and he's talking to the Baltimore crowd, saying Are you tired of being fat? And like, think positive. Are you tired of being lazy?
I
Think
love that.
positive. It's great. I loved it. Like Big E's charismatic like self just leaped off the screen. It was great. I don't know how they're pulling this feud off with Tyson and Cesaro, which those two really don't talk much, so it's hard for them to come off as charismatic. But that just shows how great they are in the ring, because in the ring, these two teams kept me entertained 100%. Like the spots were good. All three falls were highly entertaining. I love that Xavier Woods came in there and like got the third.
That was a great
stole the win, which makes me laugh because like even the ref kind of looked at the shoes and he kind of wondered like, wait, didn't Kofi have white shoes? But whatever. And then he just the fall goes. I was disappointed that Big E apparently delayed his new upcoming finisher where he suffocates people by hugging them into his chest. But whatever.
Okay.
Yes, that he's delaying the finisher. It'll come.
It'll come. Give it time.
So you made a really good point there about them going against Tyson and Cesaro. One thing that I kind of like that they haven't done is when they started this feud, Tyson and Cesaro switched over to being the face team. However, they didn't force it too much. I like this because it really seems like Tyson and Cesaro are still doing their thing, but they're not overdoing the face sell, which I think will be beneficial. Also, I think those two make a better heel team than they do a face team, and they'll probably keeping them that way so they can switch them back if necessary. That way it won't look like too much of a drastic change. And I have personally enjoyed the New Day because I liked all three people they were putting in there. I've always liked Kofi. I've always liked Xavier Woods ever since he was Consequences Creed in TNA. And I am a big fan of Big E. Not as much as the other two people in this podcast, but that's okay. However, I said from the beginning, New Day needed to be a heel tag team. And as soon as they started showing signs of turning heel, I knew that they were going to get a lot more people on their side. And now I'm glad that they're also showing that they can wrestle extremely well and they can do the team dynamic perfectly.
I'm just waiting for Xavier Woods to actually get in the ring. I haven't seen him in the ring in a while.
Well, he was injured not too long ago, and I know he's cleared and everything. He's back from the injury, but I think the original plan was for him to be more of a managerial type figure, and maybe that's why they're letting the other two do the majority of the wrestling.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, so this is an amazing match. I really enjoyed it. Okay, amazing might be stretching it, but it was
amazing.
It was highly entertaining. However, the best news for me of the night is something I've been kind of touting for a while that they needed to do with the Elimination Chamber, and that was a tag team Elimination Chamber match. Now, the way they're doing it is not exactly how I would have kind of put it together, but that's fine. And this, of course, later spawns one of the best comments of the whole show, or at least.
What's too big?
I don't know what you're talking about. What comment? I'm not entirely sure.
1 hour and 45 minutes and 6 seconds. Go to the WWE Network, find Payback, fast forward to that scene.
Did you seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
1 hour, 45 minutes, and 6 seconds.
All right, let's jump ahead to Raw for just a second because we were told what tag teams were going to be in this match. And I find this incredibly interesting that they're going to have two people per pod, which is going to be really interesting if Big E and his partner do not start, which would probably be Kofi. Kofi's been in the chamber before, so he'd be a good person to put back in there. However, I think this is great. You have the New Day, of course, the champions, Tyson and Cesaro. Ascension. Yeah, I said that.
Tyson and Kid.
Yeah.
That's two people. Either one-man tag team. That's fantastic.
The Ascension.
It's like Mankind.
Los Matadores.
And what the hell did the Ascension do to deserve a spot? Whatever.
Yeah,
they're there. Duh. I mean, come on. We all know
they showed up for work. Yeah, you see the Mega Powers aren't in there. They lost. All right, the Lucha Dragons, which I'm a fan. I hope they do more with them. But The people who I would actually like to see, if the New Day are going to lose the belts, which I don't think they will, but if they're going to lose the belts, I would like to see the Primetime Players get a hold of that.
Millions of dollars.
But I'm going to assume that you two would like to see the New Day retain.
I would. Now that you say this, I would love to see a New Day versus Primetime Players.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That's pretty much the only way I would be willing to see the belt be dropped.
I've really enjoyed these Primetime Players promos that they've been doing where they're kind of making fun of the other tag teams, because to me it's exactly what Ascension was trying to do, but done correctly. You know, you kind of make your name and you build yourself off of putting down other tag teams, right? That's wrestling 101. But to me, this is just working a lot better. However,
you know what the Primetime Players need to do?
What?
If the New Day is gonna invoke the Freebird rule to where any three of them could be in at the same time for the tag team match, if you get what I'm trying to say, the Primetime Players need to bring back AW and have him as his third.
Dear God, no.
So he can just throw a shoe and yell "Yo, mama" at them.
Oh man, I haven't thought of AW in the longest time.
See, for me, I would love for this because I'm just thinking of a feud on the mic against Big E Langston versus Rufus Pancake Jackson. I think that was his alter ego.
Yeah, Rufus Pancake.
I'm just thinking of them fighting each other on the mic. I'm about to have a heart attack. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
So here's my other thing I think needs to happen in this match. So there's this famous moment from one of the past Elimination Chambers where Jeff Hardy does the swanton off of the top of the cage, off the top of the pod. We need to have Big E Langston do his senton, or the belly flop thing that he does sometimes off the top.
That would kill somebody. I don't want to risk
Heavenly
Breath landing on somebody. It'd kill them.
You guys aren't adventurous enough. I just want to point that out.
I say no because I don't want to risk Big E getting hurt and him being off TV because he is funny.
He's a professional.
He is.
And see, even if he gets hurt, he can show up on his little crutches big crutches and do.
Oh, that'd be great. He'll come out and say like, "Oh, my leg's gonna heal because I'm positive." Oh, okay, I'm in. Do it. Jump off. I'm in.
I'm not gonna be on TV for a while because this injury's too big.
Good one. I like that one.
All right, let's move on. It's Ryback and Bray Wyatt.
This match gave me the hibbity jibbities.
Are you even sure what those are?
Did you hear that? Lawler before the match started said
he said something similar to that.
Mike on Twitter said that this match gives me the hibbity jibbities. Oh God, Lawler.
Ulysses, do you I can't even do this. I'm sorry. I had zero expectations going into this, and I'm trying to like Ryback. I really am. What did you think, Ulysses?
See, now I really never liked the Ryback. And I still, to this day, don't believe he's human. So from here on out, I will refer to him as the Ryback. So I don't know what's up with the Ryback. Like, I don't know why is he fighting or something. And you know my thought on Bray Wyatt. I think he's a loser. I think he's an idiot. And I think he can't win worth a jack. And
everybody else thinks you're wrong, but okay.
The man doesn't win, okay? Like
he won that match. He won the match we're talking about.
Okay, yeah, but he lost against everybody else on the way to there. So why the hell should I give a damn about him? He wins 1 out of every 5 pay-per-views. Why should I give him any kind of like if I feel like if I'm gonna fight him, I have a 4 and 5 chances to beat him. Why the hell should I fear the man? And it's even worse because everybody. The man. I don't think the man can wipe his own ass. Do you see the man's arms? Whatever. I don't care about the Ryback. My point is I was about to say the Wyatt. My point is Wyatt. This match started because apparently Wyatt said that Ryback got in his way. So I like to picture that in like backstage in catering, there was one piece of cheesecake, and Bray Wyatt was running toward it, but Ryback took it, and then Bray like looks at him like okay. And then he goes to his dark corner and films the thing, and then that's how he attacks him. But
your world.
This match sucks. I hated it. It's dumb. I don't give a damn about Wyatt. Maybe if he beats somebody I care about, I'd give a damn, but whatever.
I will agree.
This match was not good. It was just two big men running into each other for most of it. The highlight of the match, though, was seeing Ryback jump off the top rope.
I will agree with you for the most part that I did not really understand why Bray Wyatt was going after Ryback, other than the fact that he lifts a lot of weights and apparently his strength gives him, this false hope or whatever. I don't know. It was so weird.
Because he got in his way. He wanted that cheesecake.
Isn't Bray Wyatt's thing where he goes after people who aren't really what they say they are?
Isn't Bray Wyatt's thing he just goes after whoever the writers tell him to go
true.
at?
But
and then they make up the excuse
in
time.
my mind, Bray Wyatt's going after Ryback because Ryback says to feed him more, but Bray doesn't think he's hungry.
It's just weird because they took so many weeks giving him these promos that led up to Ryback, and yet I still don't actually think they put enough time or energy into saying why he was going after Ryback. And I understand. Look, I don't always need, like, sometimes, Dean Ambrose is a good example because of the way his character is. Sometimes when Dean Ambrose is fighting some people, I don't question it. Dean Ambrose seems like the kind of guy that if you just look at him wrong in the parking lot, he'll beat the shit out of you, right? So but Bray Wyatt isn't that type of character. I really think there should be more of a reason why he's going after, but whatever. Chris, I got your general impressions of the match, but anything else you wanted to say?
It gave me the hibbity-jibbities, that's all.
All right, well, you pointed out, and I'll say this, Ryback did go off the top rope, and I didn't think that was a thing, but that's a thing. And I actually really enjoyed Bray Wyatt doing the senton to Ryback on the outside. You know what I'm talking about?
No, he almost looked like he almost broke the Bray Wyatt. I mean, he broke the Ryback. Kevin, I'm confused about that.
It looked painful. Like when he hits Ryback and you see that expression, I was like, man, I don't want to take that move. That looks horrible.
I thought Ryback may have legitimately had a punctured lung.
Yeah. Well,
because that guy
he
was
said something about his breaker's ribs, yeah. Yeah, I will say this. This is another match that we were talking about where I believe both people ended up looking really strong, even though it's so weird that Ryback lost, and yet he's in the opening segment on Raw asking for a match, right? Or, talking about wanting to be in the IC title hunt. Because I was like, wait, your ass lost. We just sent 2 people to the back of the line, 3, for losing. Shouldn't Bray Wyatt be the one out here? I don't know. It's so weird, but this just wasn't one of the best matches on the card, but it still wasn't horrible. I wasn't bored. I didn't start surfing the internet during this match.
I'll just say, of course, Bray Wyatt looks strong because he finally won. Losing bastard.
Let's go on to Chris's favorite match
of
the night.
God, oh my goodness.
John Cena versus Rusev. Chris, tell us about this match. I hear you took some notes.
Yeah, took some notes. More like wrote a novel about it because that's. See, I write for a website, Young Speed Sports, and I do wrestling, and I do a recap of every pay-per-view. That's basically all I do for wrestling, unless something else comes up. But I take notes, and this match, I'm scrolling through now, and I'm not done. There we go, finally got it. Apparently Chioda's only words are, hey, do you want to quit? But this, it had its markout moments, this match did, but it was just boring, as were all of Cena Rusev's matches. They were just way too slow. And yeah, Super Cena prevailed, lol.
You didn't like the AA into the pyrotechnics that they
and the explosion 6 feet away.
Yeah, no. Well, look, it's sports entertainment, Chris. I don't know what you expect.
Well, it wasn't entertaining.
Ulysses, what did you think of the match?
24 times.
I am pretty much the exact opposite of Chris on this one. This match was actually a lot better than I thought it had any right to be. And for the most part, that's been most of, 2 out of the 4 Rusev Cena matches. I really like the WrestleMania one, and I kind of like this one. And I didn't like the Fastlane at all, and I didn't really like the Extreme Rules match. But for the most part, it was entertaining for unlike the other match where it was two big guys, this one is again another two big guys, but two of the more athletic big guys, I guess. It was entertaining for the most part. Like it was annoying to hear Shiota yell, like, "Do you want to quit?" How many times again, Chris?
24.
24 times. And the one thing that was the funny thing is I caught it at least twice, where like Rusev asked Shiota to tell Cena, "Do you want to quit?" And Shiota asked him in a nice, calm, "Holy shit, please don't quit" voice. And it's like, "Hey, Cena, you want to quit?" And then when Cena tells Shiota to tell Rusev, he yells at the guy like, "Hey, you want to quit?" He's like, "Okay, now I know where you lie, you asshole." Like, aren't refs supposed to be biased? But apparently, no, he's rooting for Super Cena. But whatever. This match was better than I thought it should have been, but it wasn't like it wasn't Cena's best match. It obviously wasn't like Rusev's best match. But
how about Rusev trying to impale Cena with the turnbuckle type of deal where the rope?
Yeah.
He unbuckled that. I did like that part, but the ending was just terrible. Lana coming in screaming, "He quits! He quits!" I mean, I'm glad Lana's turning face and all, but
I'm not. It's going to hurt Rusev in the long run.
I hate that. I keep them together. She's far more entertaining when she's berating the crap out of the crowd. Like, I love America more than anybody, but she could probably make me want to become a Russian citizen. I'll just say that.
I agree with that because it adds to his character, and I know that they want her to start wrestling since she's been training and all that, but she is far more valuable right now, I think, as a manager to keep building him. I don't know. I think Rusev has improved in the ring. I think he could go on his own, but I think they're definitely hurting him by taking her away.
Yeah.
Also, I will say that I was kind of glad these two matches fell back to back, the previous match and this one, because they had a very similar pacing. Now, the Rusev Cena match picked up a little bit more towards the end, but that way it wasn't like I just came off some great match, and then got kind of let down or whatever. The pacing really flowed well between these two matches because they had about the same pacing. Felt both like two giants, going after it. This is another one that I thought, even though Rusev lost, he had some good moments. When he suplexed Cena onto the guardrail or whatever that thing was, that looked painful. And it made me think that Rusev was willing to do anything, like Chris brought up with the turnbuckle and all. It made me think that Rusev was willing to do anything to win, even though we all knew he was going to lose.
You just about slipped up and said,
I know. Chris with the turnbuckle in the corner. That was horrible. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this man is a monster.
And I don't want to constantly bring back Big E Langston, but last year in Payback, well, I have a valid reason why. Last year at Payback, Rusev fought Big E at Payback, and I think it was just a regular match, right? But that showed how good Rusev could be, because both those big guys were athletic. They did a lot of good athletic spots. It wasn't the longest match in the world, but it just showed how I like that match a lot better than this match because they allowed Rusev to be more athletic.
All right, so let's move on to Naomi and Tamina versus the Bellas. I actually didn't think this was horrible. I do think it could have been a little bit better. And I think one of the problems is now that we recently have gotten a little bit better action from some of the divas. Now, it's time for them to step the game up even a little bit further. That's the problem when you start doing better, is that people expect it to go up and up. Ulysses, what do you think about this match?
See, the problem is exactly what you said. You said it wasn't as bad. So that means you're presuming that this match would have been bad. And that's the problem here. WWE has, in the last couple years, has already implanted something in us that makes us assume these diva matches are going to be bad.
Wait. That is not the last couple of years. This is...
Well, I'm in a vacuum.
Easily 10 years.
Okay, then
the
10 years, couple years, whatever. Yeah. My math is worse than yours. Whatever. Point being, they're expecting us. And that's why last time when you asked me the question, which NXT stars do I want brought up to the roster, that's the exact reason why I picked nothing but the three divas that I like the most. Because I like 2 of the 4 divas in this match, and those 2 being Tamina and Naomi. Right. I can't stand the Bellas. I just can't. Like, I know, like, they're kind of like the face of the division, but it's a horrible face. It's an absolutely disgusting face to me. I actually like Tamina. Like, I think she could be fantastic as a, like, the brooding heel kind of diva, and she's working. I hate that she's always stuck in this bodyguard gimmick. I can't stand that, but I'm just hoping this leads to her breaking away and means bigger and better things for her. But this match was actually pretty good for like a Divas tag team match that had no stakes whatsoever.
I thought pretty much the same thing, that the WWE needs to hashtag give Divas a chance, and they've been dropping the ball with that lately. But this match wasn't as bad. I mean, there was some cool moments, like the springboard enziguri that Nikki Bella did. Yeah. There was one bad moment where Naomi did a neck breaker on Brie and then almost legitimately broke Brie's neck on a terrible botched spot.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. There was one spot where I was like, it looks like they messed that up, yeah.
Like, Naomi literally dropped Brie on her head, and luckily, I guess Brie came out okay, but I'm glad she did because that looked bad. But yeah, this match, I mean, it's a good Divas match and no stakes involved, so really I don't understand why it was on the pay-per-view.
They needed a Divas match, and they wanted a holdover because I have a feeling they knew, that their big moment was going to be when Paige comes back, which happens on Raw. This is also one of those matches, I think, where it was good to kind of not have too many stakes, but to be able to show off multiple divas. Like Ulysses said, Tamina's a good worker, Naomi's a good worker, Nikki has gotten much better, Bree's, does her thing. She's not bad at all. So you had decent workers. Unfortunately, I hate that they had that botch spot. But and to go back to what Ulysses said real quick, this has just been a problem that WWE's Divas division really has been having a problem for, I would say, honestly, about 10 years. Maybe closer to 8. It's, you have all the run-in jokes. It's like, oh, this is when you go take a piss, or, don't worry about watching this match. But I try to give the Divas as much of a chance, and I know that it's stacked against them. The writers don't focus as much on their storylines. They don't divide as much between face and heel in the Divas division, so it seems like it's very flip-flop sometimes. This is just one of those examples of when they kind of had a holdover match, but it could have been so much worse, I guess, is one of the things I was trying to point out. It could have been, honestly, a much shorter match like they've done. There have been the times where they have literally given the Divas like 2 minutes, if that, on a pay-per-view, and it could have just honestly been a much worse match. I hope to see more out of it, though.
See, I hope that one day the main roster's Diva division would get to the point where, like, in the last NXT pay-per-view where it was like the Fatal 4-Way women's match, when if you took a piss break during that match, you were an asshole, because that match was fantastic. And just like how the triple threat match with, I think it was Charlotte and Bayley or whatever it was, that match was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good match.
And the next NXT pay-per-view, they have 2 fantastic Diva matches planned, and I'm gonna hold it in for that. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Neville versus Barrett. I just want to go out on a limb and say, again, wasn't a bad match. It was decent. I am such a Neville fan. Have been since I started paying attention to him in NXT. However, I really want them to do something with this, and I wasn't a big fan of the ending. What did you think, Chris?
Much in the same. It was a good match. I like both. I like Barrett and I like Neville, but there's some good spots in it. But the ending was just, we got a Raw ending. I mean, it's just they're setting up for the next pay-per-view. Which, are they facing it at Elimination Chamber, or are they waiting until Money in the Bank?
They're both in the Elimination Chamber.
They're in the Elimination Chamber. My bad. Forgot. Just slipped my mind.
Yeah.
But so they're holding out till they get a final culmination match, and this was just really a pointless ending, but it was a good match nonetheless. I liked it.
Yeah, it seems like they were protecting both of them, or normally I would say, hey, if this is building up to something better, it's not as bad. But it really looked like they were protecting both of them heading into the chamber. Ulysses, what do you think?
This was a good match, entertaining match, annoying ending. But the highlight to me was actually finally being able to see Neville's Titantron entrance. Apparently the man is an alien. It's good to know. I like it. And the also funniest thing was I won't go too graphic, but apparently King Barrett was very excited to wrestle this match. Apparently he was very, very excited. I'll let you guys decide what that means.
Thankfully missed that.
Apparently he was very excited to wrestle this match.
I want to apologize. I don't actually think Neville's in the chamber. I just looked back over the
participants. I didn't think
so. Barrett is, and maybe they'll do something kind of cool where Neville will, challenge him for his spot in the chamber, something like that. I always like the Elimination Chamber when they do stuff like that. Like I remember the year that Kofi was supposed to be in there, but Edge comes out and throws him into the steps right beforehand, and Edge takes his spot in the chamber. Because he literally throws Kofi into the steps, runs in, locks himself in Kofi's pod, and I guess the rest were just like, well, he's in there now. We can't get him out. I guess we just have to start the match,
Yeah.
That was no way out. WrestleMania before WrestleMania 25.
Right.
But, see, if Neville is not in the chamber, I think WWE kind of dropped the ball because they missed a perfect opportunity for Neville to do the red arrow off the
You want to talk about somebody potentially hurting themselves, yeah.
It's not like if Neville hasn't done that before in Greater Heights or something. The man's a psychopath when he wrestles half the time, and I love it.
He's great. It's great. All right, so I really don't want to talk about this much anymore because I'm afraid Ulysses is going to mention Barrett's erection again. So
okay, skip right to it.
We're
excited, damn it.
We're gonna discuss the IC belt in just a minute, but we want to talk first about the main event for Payback. A main event that I have to say, like, I was looking forward to it, but it actually exceeded my expectations. Chris, I want to know what you thought.
You summed it up perfectly. I mean, I expected some good out of it and got a lot of good out of it. I loved this match. It was really good. I mean, sure, Orton forgot he was in the match for a good 75% of it, but I loved. My favorite part was the reunion. My bad. The reunion.
That's a good word.
Shield. I somehow. My bad. The reunion of the Shield for a brief moment, only for Ambrose and Rollins Ambrose and Reigns to remember what Rollins did to them and send Kane through the table. And I love the idea. Like I don't think they were teasing this at all. Maybe they might have been, but I would love to see Reigns and Ambrose team up and go in the tag team division. I feel like they would have good chemistry together. Just leave all the talking to Ambrose and just keep the mic far away from Reigns, and I feel like they could be somewhat good. But this match, I mean, yeah, you saw the interference from J&J and Kane, but you expected that.
Yeah, sure.
And the ending where the pedigree, I mean, some people were complaining about that, but the pedigree is an awkward move. If you mess it up slightly, it's going to look bad. I mean, I liked it. I like the fact that he used the pedigree, which is kind of shades of what Randy Orton did in Extreme Rules, but I liked it. We all knew Seth was going to come out on top, and something unexpected happened, and Ambrose was not the fall guy, and I love that.
Here's the thing. I love that he used the pedigree because it's the mentor-student relationship that they've kind of been building with Rollins kind of off to the side. Also, I agree 100%. And I know that we probably all saw on Twitter was Steve said that the pedigree's an awkward move. It is. It's not. Here's the thing. Triple H has had years to perfect. Like I was pointing out to some people, if you notice, a lot of the times he actually hunches over a little bit when he does the pedigree traditionally because it just looks weird if you're standing straight up. It's not a move that you can look graceful with if you're not someone who has practiced it. So I thought that worked well. Also, I am not a GIF person. I don't really sit around and search the internet for GIFs like a lot of people I know do. But that one of actually I was thinking Bam, but still that one of the Shield reuniting, as Chris tried to say, reunioning.
What did I say? Reuniting?
Reunite. I don't know. Anyway, reunation. I don't know. The point is when they put put the fist out, the facial expression on Seth Rollins is priceless. Like, you talk about in wrestling, so there's so many good wrestlers who don't need to say anything. They can sell a moment with their facial expressions or with their pain or whatever. That was a perfect example of that. Also, when Randy Orton was getting triple power bombed, and he kind of realized, it's like that moment where he realizes, it's like, wait, is this really happening? And it's almost like he wants to start screaming, no, 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 but he just starts shaking his head a little bit, and when he goes back, he has this perfect expression of like, oh, fuck this shit. I loved it. All right, the opening of the match was just this wonderful opening chaos, and it went into a lot of stuff. In Ulysses, I am proud to say, you can no longer ask me when was the last time Roman Reigns did the move with the kick on the outside, because he did it during this match.
That was a mark-out moment for me.
I can see that. What did you think of the match overall?
Okay, finally I get to talk.
It's a lead-up, man. I was leading into it.
It's okay. I appreciate it. See, my first beef is with you two, because you guys both said that you guys weren't expecting a great match. That's where you guys are wrong. I'm not blown away by this match because I got exactly what I thought. I thought this match was going to be fantastic. You got 3 world-class performers in Orton, Rollins, and Ambrose. And you guys forget, when Roman Reigns is not in a one-on-one match, he's actually pretty good. Yeah. When he was tag teaming with the Shield, again, when it was like 3-on-3 matches or tag team matches, he was pretty good. In the Money in the Bank match, he was pretty good. He had a fatal 4-way match at a pay-per-view. He was pretty good.
Sure.
And I knew, like, when he's on one-on-one matches, he's not at his greatest. But when he's filled with a lot of people, he could punch and spear and whatnot. He's really good. So I got exactly what I thought I was going to get from this match. What was a pleasant surprise was the Shield reunion thing. I did not expect that in the slightest. It was great. Rollins, you're right, he sold that like a champ with his face. But for me, the Ambrose smirk made it better, because I love when he smirks with his tongue and then he instantly stone phases him and he's like, nope, you know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And it was hilarious to put. It was funny when they put King Kane on the table, and then they powerbombed Rollins, and it didn't break.
Yeah.
And you hear the crowd go, one more time.
Yeah.
One more time.
That was
and
great.
Then you see Ambrose go to Roman, and he says, want to do it again? He's like, all right, let's do it again. And they powerbomb it, and they break it. And, like, I'm kind of scared, because I'm scared to say this, but Roman Reigns was funny in this match. Like, it was great to see Roman stare at Ambrose, and then Ambrose, and they both kind of smirk, and they go like, there really isn't much else to do. And like they're both like, yeah, they were like, all right, let's do this. And they go in and they start fighting. Oh, that was great. That was hilarious. That was funny as all hell. This match was great.
You were absolutely correct. I decided that at some point during the match, I decided that I wanted to see a buddy cop movie with Ambrose and Reigns.
Exactly.
I think they could pull that off. Also, that spot where Seth comes off the top and Orton catches him in the power slam.
Oh man,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Man, it looked amazing. Like, once again, we talked about back at WrestleMania how Orton and Rollins just had their timing perfect, and this is another great example of that. So I was really, really into that. Other than Rollins practicing the pedigree a little bit more, I can't think of any real complaints. Even when the table didn't break like it was supposed to, they worked around it. They did what they were supposed to do.
I got a complaint.
Okay, what's your complaint?
My complaint is this. So, Dean Ambrose at one point in the match set up for a double underhook DDT, and Michael Cole foolishly called that Dirty Deeds. That's not Dirty Deeds, damn it. Dirty Deeds is a headlock driver, not a double arm DDT. Ran over.
You're really not gonna let this go, are you?
I'm never gonna let that go, because the double arm DDT looks goofy. the headlock driver legit looked awesome. Like, look
It
back
did.
when he did
It
that.
did.
Look, go back and when he did that to Kofi, and Kofi stands in the air for like 2 seconds.
That was
and then
amazing. That was amazing. I remember exactly what you're talking about.
It's
All right.
great.
I did like also, because we're about to transition into Raw here, I like that Orton got pinned, because Chris mentioned that earlier, and that he actually was not on Raw. Now, I don't think there were any like major injuries he was selling or whatever, but I kind of like this idea of Orton receiving the pin and kind of needing to take a moment away to figure out his next move. I don't know what they're planning on doing with Orton next. He's not, from what we can tell, in any of the chamber matches, so maybe he's taking some time off. Who knows? But I like that he wasn't on Raw, and it kind of sold that a little bit more. I also like that Reigns wasn't on Raw. I did not expect that. I didn't expect Reigns to not be on Raw.
I know, like, why would he not be? Like, it's not like we took any big bump for him not to be there.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason I liked it is because it switches focus a little bit, and they had plenty of star power and things to do on Raw without those two guys, so it worked. And Reigns is coming back for SmackDown, so we'll get to hear from him. And Orton will probably be back next Raw if he's not going on a vacation of some sorts. Let's kind of burn through Raw real quick. I didn't like that it's just become almost tradition for the show to open with a nearly 20-minute promo. I know this one led into a match between Sheamus and Ryback, which again, I did they even point out that Ryback lost his match? I don't think they did.
It's a Ryback. It's the Ryback, so the Ryback lost, whatever.
They did carry on his bruised ribs, and that seemed to be how Sheamus kind of got the upper hand. So, that was cool. Barrett and Neville had, another match on. That seemed to be their rematch, from the pay-per-view. The Barrett Neville match once again was a little short, and I really enjoyed it. But you can't tell me that you didn't love the Bo Dallas stuff.
I love it because if it brings back a Bo Dallas Neville feud that hopefully makes them do another ladder match, I'm 100% for it.
Yeah. For those
100%.
fans who don't know, Bo Dallas was a very long-running NXT champion, and Adrian Neville won the belt off of him. Bo Dallas was a great NXT champion. Oh, man, there were so many good moments with him. And I like that they brought all that up on Raw, because to me it helps legitimize NXT a little bit more as a part of the overall universe or whatever. And at the end, Bo Dallas attacked Neville, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
There was a lot of stuff with Lana and Rusev, and the thing that most people saw and that we kind of brushed up on was Lana and Rusev have their little spat. She goes away, comes back out later after Ziggler's match against Stardust, which I feel really bad for Stardust. He lost to R-Truth, and he really didn't look that strong in the Ziggler match,
I'm not the biggest fan of Stardust.
That's your problem.
Part. Well, like, I like Cody Rhodes. Like, I thought Cody Rhodes was a good wrestler. I thought he was entertaining. And to be honest, the Stardust angle to me died the second they didn't let him and Goldust fight at WrestleMania. It died.
That was dumb.
I don't know why. I've heard so many different things about why they didn't let that happen and all that, but I don't know. But the point is, we're getting off track here. Lana comes out and kisses Ziggler, which causes Rusev to come out and be the jealous, recently ex-boyfriend, I guess. And it's looking like they're starting a new feud between Ziggler and Rusev, which could be entertaining.
Should be.
I like it. I like it for two reasons. One, it'll elevate Rusev because I want more, because there really isn't any other than Rollins. There's not a valuable main event heel, so I'm all for that. Bray Wyatt should have been one, but whatever. And the other two is that these two wrestlers look fantastic at the end of their matches because their hair is all stupid. It's gonna be great when both of them actually wrestle. It's gonna be fantastic.
Do they have anything on Sting's hair at the end of a match?
No, because Sting also has the face paint, and then halfway through the match, you go like, "Who the hell is this guy? Where the hell is Sting?" It's like it's all over the other guy's chest.
All right, so I think this will be a good feud. The New Day took on Kid and Cesaro. I said it right this time. Um, it's the DQ ending, but what kind of sold it leading into Elimination Chamber was all the different tag teams that we mentioned before all came out. I love how convenient that is. It's like the 6 tag teams that happen to come out also happen to be the 6 tag teams that will be fighting in the match. It's fun wrestling, convenient stuff.
I hate the Ascension.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Fine, you hate the Ascension. I would like to talk about. Now. Okay, yeah, I can see that more. I would like to talk about for a second. I'd like to talk about John Cena and something I think is really cool. I have really been enjoying these open challenges he does on Raw. I love the fact that we have a belt that's being defended, pretty much every week almost. I know this week's kind of an exception, but
it's kind of become the new TV title,
right? And I'm okay with that. I think there should be a belt, or a belt should be defended pretty regularly on the program. It doesn't have to be the same belt, but I liked when TNA did it. I liked when WCW did it. I think every company has had kind of their version of the TV title that gets defended almost every week. But however, I also like, to me, and you guys can agree or disagree with this, it seems like Cena really is doing what they wanted him to do. He's building the legitimacy of the belt, and he did something, in my opinion, that I didn't expect as kind of a side effect to this. He also seems to be building the belt as not just a title, but as America's belt. When Owens came out and they had their interaction and he leaves Cena on the mat, he steps on the U.S. title. The crowd boos him so heavily when he stepped on the title. And this is right after Cena's just talked about how that title represents America and all that.
Yeah.
So anything to me that is getting the fans more behind, the belt, I think is good. And I love the challenges. I love that we have these, now I've had 2 NXT stars come up and challenge. I think that adds a little bit of an element of surprise. I love Owens. I think I've liked Owens since he was Kevin Steen. So I think he could actually do a lot given
what a mark,
given some proper writing, some good plot lines. I'm not a mark, you asshole.
See, I love that whole scene between those two, because for any asshole who says Cena doesn't sell, he sold the ever-loving shit out of the pop-up powerbomb. Like, he got high up in there. That was great.
Yeah. That was pretty much it for Raw. They had kind of a cool thing with Ambrose at the end where they were doing this party for Seth, and he threatened to basically do what Rollins did to him, which involves some concrete blocks, which I thought was cool, and they gave him the match and everything. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It wasn't. I felt like there were other bigger parts of the episode, but that was a good ending.
It's good. It was good Raw.
And I think it sends us into some really good matches for Elimination Chamber. However, I want to take a moment right now to discuss the IC title picture. Now, right now, as it stands, we have an Elimination Chamber set with Ryback, Sheamus, R-Truth, Rusev, King Barrett, and found out the last entrant, Dolph Ziggler. I really did think it was going to be Neville, but Dolph Ziggler are all going to go vie for the IC title. However, today, I want to ask you guys, let's go with this whole Elimination Chamber thing, but maybe not the exact participants. How would you book the coming IC title thing? How would you set up everything?
See, I think I kind of gave my answer away earlier, like not counting, like if I could replace the contestants,
mm-hmm.
I'm scared because I don't want to. I hate that they threw in Barrett and Ziggler, because I've always said like those guys are main event stars in the making. They're good.
Yeah. And
I was afraid when Barrett dropped the title they were going to bury him, but the King of the Ring is a nice little holdover to keep him relevant in most people's eyes. But I didn't want him in this match just because I thought if you give him the IC title, he takes another huge step down and he'll be Mr. Perfect. He'll be labeled as a mid-carder for the rest of his life.
Okay.
And same with Ziggler. I want Ziggler to go up. So I'm also, like you said, Rusev was in this one as well?
Yeah, Rusev is.
See, I'm kind of surprised he's in there too. But if they give him the title, that'd be dumb. But see, for me, the only way I wanted Barrett to be in this match is if Neville was in it, because I thought the perfect way to send Neville with the title was for him to do the red arrow off the thing. That'd be great. That's how I would have done it.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's what I think they should do. They should play to the Barrett and Neville feud that's currently going on. I think Barrett should win this. I know it's kind of a step down a little bit. I'd like to see him go higher, but hear me out here. This is a long run here. Barrett wins, and Neville and Barrett go on to face at Money in the Bank, and then there's like not clean, a dirty ending to the match, and which forces ultimately at SummerSlam, not only is the IC title up for grabs, but also the title of King is up for grabs, to where Neville ultimately beats Barrett to become King Neville and the IC champion at the same time.
Okay.
I just thought of that, and I like that idea.
Okay.
You put it in a forklift.
On a pole.
No, we're not. I said we're not doing forklift matches. No.
What about on a pole match?
Let's not. So, here's mine. All right, hear me out.
Okay.
The Elimination Chamber comes, and Barrett wins via Bullhammer. I think Rusev and Ziggler will take each other out in their feud, and then Barrett wins via Bullhammer against R-Truth, which sadly, he just seems like the fall guy. All right, so you now have King Barrett, and he now has his belt, which kind of, King is a great title, but now he has something, to show for it, something physical. But Barrett's not done. He's like, no, I'm a king, right? I need something else. So then the tag title match for the Elimination Tag title match comes up, and as everybody's going out to the ring and getting in their pods, they call for the Ascension, but the Ascension doesn't, come out. So we go backstage, and of course, they're both hung from forklifts, because you guys wanted to throw forklifts in this. So this is where we're putting the fucking forklifts, right?
Wait, hung as in like a Big Boss Man style hung?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. So they're not dead, though.
No. He died, That's what killed him. It was literally a snuff match.
Whatever.
Hey, if I can steal Steve's jokes. Hey, if you could steal Steve's jokes.
I do not steal Steve's jokes. Stop.
Yes, you do.
I do.
He's not going to listen to this anyway.
No one cares. No one listening to this knows who the hell we're talking about.
Fuck you, Anonymous.
I knew that was coming. All right, so they're in the back. They've been beaten up or hung from forklifts or whatever. So then the team of Fandango and Zack Ryder comes out, and they get in the pod, but they look way more serious than they usually do, right? And so it's like an Edge thing, where they're like, well, we need a team, and the forklift team just isn't going to make it. So they do that. Barrett comes out and hands Ryder the scepter through the Elimination Chamber cage, right? And he uses that to win. They win the tag belts, right? Then the following night on Raw, they actually help Neville win the U.S. title from Cena, okay? Now, hear me out here. So then, at the end of the night, Barrett comes out with his 2 tag team champs and Neville as the U.S. champ, and he says that he has now formed the new Knights of the Round Table.
It's like his King's Court type of deal.
Yeah.
I can buy that.
Except Knights
a new
of the Round
faction?
Table, like I said. Yes, it'd be a new, better faction.
If it's managed by Jerry the King Lawler, I'm all in.
That would be amazing. They should do that.
Did you say who did you say the tag teams champions would be?
Fandango and Zack Ryder. I was just throwing somebody out there.
I'm fine with the Zack Ryder bid. Not so sure about Fandango.
No,
Well,
see,
they were
no, wait, hold on. I got a way to
Alright.
fix it. Okay. I like Fandango. I don't like Zack Ryder. You're the only person on the world that likes Zack Ryder, so stop that.
Chris just said he liked Zack Ryder.
Chris is not labeled a human being yet. Point being,
You're just not old enough to be a human being.
I know how to make this more royalty. Okay, you take Zack Ryder out, you put in Goldust. See? And you debut the new tag team, Goldango. Mic drop. I win. That's how you make it royally.
Oh, God, why? Why?
Look for Goldango to appear.
All right.
Goldango. That's why.
I would really like if any of our listeners have better suggestions than Goldango. If you could leave those in the comments. If you could leave those in the comments. I want to thank Chris and Ulysses for joining me here today. I can't believe that we got off track as much as we did. Actually, I should believe that. Yeah. If anyone wants to talk to Ulysses about Goldango, his Twitter is going to be in the description, and Chris's Twitter. And if you want to read his articles, go to his Twitter, and he advertises them on there. Anything else, gentlemen? Anybody want to have any comments about Goldango or Cooking with Kane or anything else?
We're too big. Boom.
You guys have a good day.
We're too big.
Boom.